When you watch Neymar at his best, it feels like time slows down. Defenders stand frozen, caught between stepping forward to close the gap or holding back to avoid being humiliated. This is not a coincidence. It's a skill Neymar has mastered. His ability to freeze defenders starts before he even touches the ball. It begins with his posture, his body orientation, and the way he manipulates the defender's focus. First, Neymar approaches with a controlled tempo, not at full sprint. Many young players believe speed is always the weapon, but Neymar knows that unpredictability is far more dangerous. By slowing down at the right moment, he forces the defender into a decision-making trap, because defenders expect attackers to accelerate, not decelerate. Second, his body language sends mixed signal. Neymar will slightly lean forward as if preparing for a sudden burst, then subtly shift his weight from one foot to the other. This micro-movement creates doubt. Is he going to the left, the right? Will he cut inside or explode down the line? That hesitation, even if it lasts a fraction of a second, is enough to give him the advantage. Third, Neymar constantly uses the ball as bait. He positions it just within the defender's reach but not close enough to be tackled safely. This invites the opponent to make a move, and the moment they commit, Neymar executes his real plan. By combining ball positioning with sharp feints, he manipulates their timing. Biomechanically, this works because defenders rely heavily on reactive muscle responses. A quick change in visual cues, like Neymar dropping his shoulder or glancing one way, triggers a split-second hesitation in their neural response. At the professional level, that tiny pause is the difference between winning and losing the duel. What makes Neymar unique is not just his flair, but how he builds this psychological trap. Before the dribble even happens, he's already decided how to break the opponent. All that's left is to execute it with perfect timing. One of Neymar's deadliest weapons is something most players overlook: the pause. In football, everyone talks about acceleration, but very few understand the value of controlled deceleration. Neymar uses this to completely unbalance defenders. When he's approaching an opponent, he doesn't always attack in a straight burst. Instead, he'll suddenly slow down, almost to a standstill, while keeping his upper body in motion. This creates a visual mismatch. The defender sees movement above the waist but feels no forward pressure from the legs. This split-in signals makes it harder for the defender to anticipate the next action. This technique is deeply rooted in psychology. Defenders are trained to react to the attacker's first obvious cue. By pausing, Neymar removes those cues, forcing the defender to take initiative. And in football, whoever moves first often loses. Biomechanically, the pause allows Neymar to reload his kinetic chain. When he halts his momentum, he's not resting. He's storing potential energy in his muscles, ready to explode in any direction. That's why, when he does accelerate again, it feels like a sudden lightning strike. Another layer to this pause is the way Neymar uses his upper body to disguise intent. He might look one way, drop his shoulder, and let the ball roll slightly forward, luring the defender into thinking they have a chance to intercept. The moment the defender lunges, Neymar shifts direction instantly. Many players try to imitate this, but they make one key mistake: they pause without purpose. Neymar's pause is always connected to the next move. It's never just a break in tempo. It's a calculated setup for the dribble, almost like a predator crouching before the pounce. When done right, the pause doesn't just freeze one defender. It can lock an entire defensive line, buying Neymar time for teammates to get into better positions. This is why his style is not just about individual skill, it has tactical value for the whole team. What makes Neymar's dribbling even more dangerous is his ability to manipulate the geometry of the pitch. Most players attack space as it appears. Neymar creates the space first. When facing a defender, he doesn't just try to beat them head-on. Instead, he will subtly guide them into a position where the angle of their body works against them. For example, by leaning slightly toward the sideline, Neymar invites the defender to block that path. But this is the trap. The moment the defender commits, Neymar cuts inside, using the defender's momentum against them. This is where his body orientation becomes crucial. Neymar often keeps his hips and shoulders half open, pointing toward multiple directions at once. This gives him two escape routes at any moment, forcing defenders to defend both options, which is physically impossible. Another key factor is Neymar's micro-adjustments with the ball. He doesn't just dribble forward, he shifts the ball half a meter left or right with each step, creating mini gaps between defenders that seem to appear out of nowhere. Even at full speed, these small touches are surgical, allowing him to navigate through impossible traffic. From a psychological standpoint, Neymar's unpredictability is terrifying for defenders. They know he can go left, right, or straight through them. And because he doesn't repeat patterns in predictable sequences, defenders can't read him. It's like trying to predict a chess player who changes strategy every 3 moves. Tactically, this space manipulation allows Neymar not only to bypass defenders, but to open passing lanes. By pulling defenders slightly out of position with his movements, he creates channels for through balls or quick 1-2s with teammates. This is why, even in matches where he's not scoring, he's still influencing the game's rhythm and structure. When you watch Neymar closely, you'll see that most of his best dribbles aren't just about beating one man, they're about breaking the defensive shape of the entire opposing team in a single action. That's why his dribbling is more than flair. It's a tactical weapon. One of Neymar's greatest strengths is his ability to stay calm while chaos surrounds him. Dribbling at the highest level isn't just about skill, it's about performing under extreme pressure. And Neymar thrives in these moments. When he's surrounded by defenders, many players panic and make rushed decisions. Neymar, however, almost slows time down in his mind. This comes from years of high-intensity training, where he constantly simulates game situations with limited space and aggressive challenges. Physically, his low center of gravity and core strength allow him to absorb contact without losing balance. Even when defenders push or kick, he keeps the ball close, often drawing fouls in dangerous areas. This not only frustrates opponents but also relieves pressure on his team. Mentally, Neymar plays with an element of controlled arrogance. He's confident enough to take on multiple defenders, but calculated enough to know when to pass. This balance between individual brilliance and team contribution is what separates a street dribbler from a world-class playmaker. Another underrated factor is how Neymar uses the crowd and match context to fuel his performance. In high-stakes games, when the stadium is buzzing, he seems to enter a state of heightened focus, using the noise and energy as motivation rather than distraction. From a tactical standpoint, Neymar's dribbling under pressure forces defenders to make mistakes. The more they try to trap him, the more gaps open elsewhere on the field. This creates chain reaction. A single successful dribble can trigger a goal-scoring opportunity for his team. Ultimately, Neymar's dribbling isn't just about flashy moves. It's the result of a perfect blend of technical mastery, spatial intelligence, and mental toughness. He doesn't just beat defenders, he bends the game to his will, and that's why even in the modern era of fast-paced tactical football, Neymar remains one of the most dangerous one-on-one players in the world. Not because of one skill, but because he turns every dribble into a calculated strike against the opposition's defense.